So it's a $544 integrated amp with a 1/4 inch and 3.5mm headphone output with a microphone control too, lovely weighted knurled volume dial, set of speaker terminals at the back, rear mic socket at the back as well as a set of RCA analog inputs for a source component or digital to analog converter. But it's also a gaming amp too, because you could use the mic into your PC and then use a splitter to the funk. So ostensibly it's for headphone and passive desk speaker use, get my tongue around that, which is all the more obvious from the box stand that you can get with it. The Funk uses a Class A headphone amp and Class AB speaker amp. So in lay terms, remember, differences between Class A and AB is essentially a biasing scheme where Class A gets out all its power no matter the signal, but Class AB has a lower output with no signal. This can have all sorts of effects upon the sweetness of the sound. The headphone amp of this Funk outputs around 3 watts, which with a gain button is going to be more than satiating for most over-ear dynamic drivers and planar magnetics, like these Adam Audio SP5s I've got and Hi-Fi Man's IRA. But 45 watts at 4 ohms or 35 watts at 8 ohms is the output for speakers. Burson say they use max current power supply technology using transistors with low resistance to overcome the problems of resistance in copper windings of traditional power supplies that stifle detail and dynamics. But even assuming we accept that, how does what we hear relate to the sound you may think they mean from saying that and comparing products? Well, for headphone listening, I found that it's more tonally thick sounding as you'd expect for Class A, especially compared to the similarly powerful $400 Class AB SMSL H0200 I have at the moment, which I tried with this Funk using the brilliant ARA headphones as I've mentioned. And obviously it's not like kind of Class A in drugs is necessarily, you know, better than say Class D. That was a joke. I only smoked pot and it was 25 years ago. I think that the mid-range is more met with bass and upper mids in a cosy and cosseting way to the SMSL's layering and separation of vocals or mids between the bass. But then again, the raspiness and tailing off of, say, a violin string on the SMSL comes out to the Burson playing hide and seek to that for the sake of overall wider soundstage and thickness. But it really depends upon what your cup of tea is, I guess. The SMSL was a bit like food not flavoured or coloured with cochineal, that weird red food colouring that's in curries. The Burson, in contrast, is coconut flavoured, it's smoothed, it's creamed, it's softened. I can keep on going, but yes, I think you get it. I mean, basically, it's a coloured sound. Dynamically, the SMSL has more a perfunctory, dynamic hold on the music to the Funk, much like soldiers marching on a parade to the Funk's relative, you know, easy walk in the park. But how do they present detail? Well, I think they're both pretty good against one another, to be honest. It's close sonically overall, I think, but personally I prefer the SMSL sound. Slightly more neutral and more intonation, which is essentially my preference for Class AB. But the point is, you aren't me, and you need to try before you buy it as well. And music is, you know, it's taste dependent, and sound is taste dependent. Also, the SMSL might not be a direct comparator, as there isn't any speaker outputs. But anyway, I'm going to blow all that out of the water for a definitive judgment, because you can actually modify the op amps in it. These are a type of transistor, all sound different, and if you've experienced them in power amplifiers, they can wildly change the sound quality of an amp. I'm doing the basic funk here, not the full-on deluxe funk.
Aye, know what I mean, know what I mean, nudge, nudge, know what I mean, say no more.
The one with the standard Texas Instruments NE5532D op amp installed, and without the cool stand. Not the cool stand, but the cool stand. But what about sound with speakers? Well, this amp is surprisingly detailed and refined for its size, and I saw KEF LS50 Meta speakers being used on one video review, so I thought I'd try with mine. And whilst it is okay, speakers like these KEFs need pricier dynamic drive and qualitative drive and power to sound best. So it's a bit sacrilegious to shortchange yourself on that, is my point. So whilst not best with the KEFs, I think if you go for smaller, easy drive, near field speakers that might be used on a desk to suit this amp's purpose, you're going to get its full benefit. And if you're wondering, what the hell am I doing reviewing a product called a Funk and another called a Minx? Well, that's a coincidence in word terms. So Cambridge Audio are sometimes known for toppy presentations, and these Minx MIN22s or MIN22s are no different really. And ardent audiophiles might scoff at even the slightest slow fart in the wind of brightness. I don't subscribe to that view, by the way. But you know, I was thinking the other day, watching Andrew Robinson's bad B&W speaker review, do non-audiophile people in shops prefer treble for wownness factor? And the answer to that is probably yes. So that's why you tend to find these types of speakers, and it's just a case of suiting the market at these different price points and price types, and adding detail to a speaker that you might not want to be perfect, but just to suit a particular purpose. By the way, the Funk was actually donated for my views in this review, and I bought the Cambridge Audios myself. Despite the forwardness of these Minxes, they are actually suited to this amp for detailed desk near field listening without loads of bass in your face. Okay, they have limitations for size, especially in bass, but sometimes you don't always want speakers that are mind-blowing in every application, as I've just said. Also, I always say hi-fi serves music. Mostly, it doesn't serve sound. So I'm not saying they aren't good, I'm saying they're made at a price point against other speakers I review on this channel, which tend to be pricier ones. But do they sound detailed, lots of bite, and dynamically quite engaging at this money? Absolutely they do. And they could be speakers to work on a computer to without getting distracted because sound is so much in your face. So what are my final thoughts on this product? Well, I think some people might prefer the Funk over thinner sounding Class AB headphone amps like the SMSL. The Funk is decent sounding, if not amazing, with the speaker out, slightly compromising what's possible at around $500 when you're using headphones against the likes of the SMSL. And also Class A might not suit everyone. It doesn't particularly suit me. But as I made light of at the start, it's got personality with its sound and build and all its features. And considering that, the build quality, dual headphone amp, speaker desk functionality, it's actually good value. And you know what? I recommend it. What more can I say?